Hi, this is Judy Warner with Real Time with IPC. I'm delighted to be here again with Randy Cherry of IPC Validation Services. He's the director there, and this is our annual date that we have. We meet here once a year to find out what's going on. So welcome back, Randy.
Thank you very much,
Glad to
Judy.
be back in the saddle again at
Yes,
our annual
I am.
meeting.
Yes, and I'm enjoying Apex. It's been a great conference and show so far. And yes, Judy, this is a year number 3 for us.
Right.
So it's working
I
out
know,
very
this
well.
is getting to be a pattern. So
And I want to continue that pattern.
okay,
Absolutely.
I'm in. So what I want to hear about, we have much to catch up on. I hear you've been very busy this year. So last year we really covered J standards, right?
Yes.
We'd done the QMLs for the J standard, and you'd already got into the space addendums.
Correct.
So give us an update on that. How many certifications have you done this year on that end?
Okay. Well, actually, over the last 12 months, Judy, we've certified 20 companies to the J Standard 001/610, which is your PCB assembly, and then we've also certified companies to 620, the wire and cable standard. So that's gone very well. We have a couple of companies we've certified to the J Standard 001 space, so that's gone really, really well. But I want to talk to you more about our new programs that we just kicked off. We've been working with the committees on establishing a QML program based on the 6012/600 series of standards that focuses on printed board fabrication. So now we're talking about the bare board now, no soldering, no components.
This is what we were talking about. You're going into the deep waters, right? Because there's a lot more processes for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
The testing is the key to this program. And as you know, IPC, we're just a bunch of cubicles, in an office building. I don't have a lab there at IPC, so I partnered with 2 other companies, Conductor Analysis Technologies out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Robeson Labs out of Indianapolis, Indiana. So the 3 of us now, we've formed this partnership to work on this program. And I'm happy to say that we've completed our first beta site QML. It's a company near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, actually Monroe, Pennsylvania, called Compunetics.
Okay.
And they volunteered, and it went very, very well. We were able to get through the audit process, the testing process, and just kind of work things out and get it going well. And I recently just got back from China, and I'm in the process of starting to do some audits over at some China board shops. So the program is really starting to take off. I've got a sales force out there, pounding the road, so to speak. And we've got probably close to a dozen companies interested in this program now. And this is in the U.S. and over in Asia. So I'm very, very excited about that.
Right. Well, I don't know how the 6012 is a big task to take on. Plus, like you said, testing, right? That involves doing a lot of cross sections.
Yes, that's very true. Microsections, absolutely right. And we're using the test coupons from the IPC 2221 Appendix A. We're using the ABR and the D coupon. And we're working with the test methods out of TM650.
Okay.
So we're doing thermal stress, thermal shock, like you said, Judy, the microsections, and we're going to continue to add more tests to the program as time goes on.
I imagine your team has grown substantially in this
absolutely.
last year. So tell us a little bit about the team that you've added to support all this work.
Well, originally I was kind of designing the programs, doing the audits, and doing the selling.
Right.
But now I have several people now helping me out on the sales side. I have a full-time person in-house. I've got a couple of folks from our membership program to help not only sell membership and standards, but also helping me with the validation programs. And then I have a gentleman covering Asia and another gentleman covering North America. So it's going really well.
And this is year 3.
Yes.
This would be great. This would be great growth even for a private company. So I would say you're doing pretty good. Now, you've also mentioned that you're doing something called the program for SGA, the Standards Gap Analysis.
Yes.
Now, this is where you go in and you take a look at, is it shops mostly now or EMS, or is it all of the above now, to look at their compliance with IPC standards and just make sure they're on the right track?
That's a great question. The Standard Gap Analysis Program, or SGA, was a program that I developed in Q4 of 2015, so it's still fairly new. And Judy's right. I mean, basically we're focusing on seeing how companies perform to the IPC standards. It's not an audit or a certification. Basically, I work with a company like an EMS company or an OEM company, identify the issue, come to the company and identify the gaps, and then write up a report with some recommendations. It's very straightforward, very simple.
But it's really nice to have IPC support on that as opposed to having to pay lots of money for firms to come in and contract out. And I imagine it's actually really good for the industry, right?
Oh, absolutely.
To identify those gaps and really improve the output overall. So I see that as a great value add and a great support to the industry, right?
That's correct. And we've done about six SGAs so far. And we're going to talk a little more about that in a minute, but I've been putting together some case studies for a presentation we'll touch on later.
Right.
And I know a lot of engineers and a lot of customers like to hear about case studies.
Right,
We've done
absolutely.
some actual successes.
It's all about the data.
Yes.
And the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is sort of your roadmap as you are going forward on the 6012. You mentioned the IP 1071, 1072. Can you tell the audience a little bit more about that?
I believe the roadmap is critical because you have to keep these programs fresh. And one of the rules of validation services is whether I'm doing an audit or a gap analysis, everything is based around the current IPC standard.
Right.
And that's easy for me to do because everything's right there. So that helps out a lot. Now you mentioned our intellectual property standards. That's the IPC 1071, 1072. Currently now those have gone under revision. They've had some extra work done to them. So that QML program is currently on hold until the committees finish those standards.
Right.
But they're more, the term IPC likes to use is synergy. So we got the two standards now kind of going in synergy now, and that's going to help make the program a little more powerful as we move forward.
Is there a time frame on that, when that might be? I mean, if you get committees, time frame's
Sure.
a tricky thing.
Yes, it is. The 1071, I believe, is in ballot right now. That's going through our standard process, and they're reviewing some of the final comments. So we're getting real close to getting these out. I'm hoping in the next quarter we can get those out.
That sounds like a good thing. Did you want to mention something about webinars as well?
Yes, I want to mention about, too, getting back to the standard gap analysis program that I mentioned earlier. We've been doing a lot of webinars with the OEMs and the EMS companies to try to get the word out about the benefits of this program. One of the things with the QML program is sometimes people don't feel they're ready for an audit so much yet, and the standard gap analysis is much easier to do, and it can kind of give the member company, some ideas where they need to go.
Right.
And then we're going to also continue to add additional testing to our 6012-600 QML program. And long term, I'm even thinking about designing a QML program around the 630 or the 630 standard. That's kind of your back-end assembly, or people refer to it as box build.
Oh, right.
So that standard's also being worked on right now, so I'm kind of letting the committee work some of the issues out with that.
Well, again, I don't know how you have enough hours in the day right now. For the folks who are watching this video, can you tell us a little bit about, I understand Validation Services has their own booth here this year.
Thank you, Judy. That's correct. Yes, we do a booth number 2205. It's just a couple of aisles over from the IPC bookstore. And we have a lot of detail, a lot of information. I encourage anyone to stop by, and we could go into a little more detail on it. Also, too, Judy, I'd like to add, I'm speaking at Buzz Session number 5 tomorrow, Wednesday at 3:30 p.m., and it's in room S224. So if anybody would like to come to that Buzz Session, I'm going to cover everything that I talked about today, and I'll stick around and answer questions.
Great, and I'm sure you'll go into more depth than you did in our little quick fire session here, but that would be a good place for folks to go and get a little more deeper treatment on all these issues. So I want to say congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's been really fun to do this, now on our third year, and watch the incredible trajectory really of the growth and the buy-in really to validation services. It's really fun. So congratulations, and thanks for the interview today.
Thank you very much too, Judy. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. This has been Judy with Real Time with IPC, and Randy Cherry, Director of Validation Services at IPC.